Hello friend, and welcome back once again to War in the East 2. I want to start, but before I do that, I will announce that this is a special bonus episode brought to you by my Patreon supporter, Thomas Laftlin. Now, we do get to continue here, and there are a few things that I can possibly do. So if you look at the north, again, we're in a bit of trouble, but I want to try and deal with the units which are in this area. So mostly I'll try to encircle these units maybe here. But we'll have to see whether that works. And Revolution is routed and the other one retreated. Yeah, we'd have to take all three of these then. I see. Let's get rid of them. So 10,000 in losses. Good. Let's take pork off. None too pleased by a retreat here, especially since this is now a 3. Oh. So it's actually easier for them to move around like this now. One interesting thing is that I might potentially be able to get to Dno, but we'll see. Anyway. Let's move up here as well. And we'll actually launch a heavy attack. Push them further in. Have a view around this area. So, with that, let's see if this is the only one that can actually move significantly further along. Let's just see how much of an effect this has. So if I stay on that hex, which is something I could do. Well, one thing I also want to do here is hopefully push them further back in. It really problematic if they move back. So I hope that by routing them here, taking this hex and probably moving back, we can keep this encircled. The fact that they move in here is technically fine, because then I'll just make sure that they'll surrender. So this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 65,000 men. There's no way I'm gonna give that up quickly. They had to be re-encircled, so this is also amazing movement. Okay, so technically I could also do something like this, should that prove necessary. Not really sure whether it will be necessary, since I have no vision on what's going on there. If I'm gonna attack these, which I very likely will, gonna use both of my infantry. Good, they still routed. And the more important thing is now that, yeah, I will actually attack, despite any potential losses. They routed, so that entire unit is completely gone. Technically. And let's move in here first. There are a few things I can do with this encirclement, technically. So the more hexes that I take, the less likely it's gonna be that the enemy will be able to break through. Well, one thing that I definitely need to do as well, surprisingly, is... Oh, this is a completely different rail line. Wow. I do want to repair this rail. At Skov itself. And funny that I have an infantry. Let's move back. And I will get that infantry in there. Let's start with working on that rail. I know that now I'm not actually doing anything with this for this turn, but I just see no proper way otherwise to do it. Their movement is pretty bad, but yeah, you cannot even get into Dno. I will move you in there. Because I do think that Dno is also an important, quite an important position. Now, in order to prevent any kind of shenanigans from the north, I will move you guys back too. This is a pretty solid defense, and it will be tough for them to get those troops out. Although I'm sure they'll try. You have no way of moving. Alright. I do have quite a few units in this here area as well, although I would say that these guys might actually be pretty tough. One thing they could do is move down here. I don't like that. Let's move in here. This way at least they'll be bound by the zone of control for my units. I don't want to say that's a general rule of thumb that I keep, but I do want to make sure that I have the zone of control for the units pretty tight. If I go here, I will take this unit, and that's exactly what I do not want for this turn. Let's move back to Idritsa. As a routed unit, I don't expect them to be having a whole lot under their expertise, so to say. What I'll do, actually, I know this looks kind of ridiculous, is I'll do this. In the hopes that this will be good enough so that they will not be able to take care of that stuff. What I'll do though is I'll move this HQ and put you under the 10th. Right. Now, besides that, I'll put 14 or 6 Panzer as a reserve unit over here, and I'll also move you back and also put you as a reserve. Unit here, and this way they will have a zone of control over on these areas, which will make it tougher for them to go along through this side. Well, not that tough, I think, maybe. Let's just work on the rail line a bit. Which other units do you have then? If it's 4... Oh, those two. Okay. Let's move up here onto the tanks. You're on refit. Good. They'll probably get absolutely nothing. Is going to be my guess. And another guess is that you really cannot move up, huh? They'll try to attack. Let's actually move you here and put you on reserve. This might hold a little bit better then. I don't... You would still have to hold there then, and then if they want to move forward a bit, I guess they can. But there's nothing I can do at that stage. This is still looking reasonably well, I think. It's actually a somewhat solid pocket, I think. It would not be easy for them to break out at any rate. Okay, that's the north. Now for the center. I'm thinking that I want to move at least one of these from here. Let's actually move you away, put you on refit, so they're at least away from the front line a little bit. I'll move these into Vitebsk, and that will allow me to also move the 110th Infantry. Now, the problem here, yeah, I mean, they have a bunch of troops out there. I cannot imagine that to be a good idea. Can I take that back? Probably not. Could you go in there? No. What I want to do is I still need to block them. My main problem is this. If they move or teleport their units in here, they have to move only one hex and move only one hex with them. That is actually my main problem. So, in order to block them from doing that, I want to do this, and this should hold the pocket and free up 20th motorized as well. Now, if I hopefully can push them back. This is fine. I actually had hoped they would move in there, but the reason why I want to do it is because I want these guys to not be adjacent to any of these enemy units, which means that they will regain more attack points. Okay, now that we've done that, we cannot attack Smolensk directly again. In fact, I would... Retreated, routed. I really dislike these retreats. Back to 3, huh? Currently, I really see only one option for an encirclement. And it's a pretty tricky one at best. But we'll see. I mean, they do have a lot of units here as well, so they're very likely to just go and attack. Like, these are powerful divisions, so how they got them as well is almost beyond me. Still, it does mean that I need to... Oh, wow. Free up some of these guys. Anyway. Let's start with Das Reich. The weather here also ain't helping. This is a part of Gross Deutschland, okay. I mean, technically it's an encirclement. But how happy I should be with it is still up for debate. I mean, I guess an encirclement is an encirclement, but... Let's just take this rail hex here. I'm trying to keep the enemy away from Gomel. But at the same time, I do realize... Ah, okay. Yeah, doing a weak attack there is just That's not gonna help anything. Oh, you can shore them up. They're at 1 strength, 93 exhaustion. Given that there is an enemy unit there already, the likelihood of this holding is technically 0. Yeah, I do not see me holding this any possible way. It's an uncircumvental ride, but not a very good one. Right, actually, yeah, I know they routed out of it, but they're really in the way, and I really feel like I otherwise would not have been able to capture these. The rest of them, it really sucks. But I'm too spread out. Well, let's have you guys go after this. The current problem is also that the enemy in here is just too powerful for now. And I can also still see them break out, just moving here, here, and here. Yeah. It's just super tricky, but I just don't see any other way to improve our situation at the moment. It will be challenging to keep those pockets. I mean, this will not hold, but at least they'll have been out of supply for a turn. I guess that might help. As it is. Yeah, so I was talking about this here. I'm finding a potential opening. Now, down here, the only unit that I have technically is Viking. Whereas up here I have a lot more panzer units. One thing I could do... These are fairly weak, it seems like. And this will warrant me also a heavy attack. I have to put you under the 3rd motorized corps. And this mountain division also needs to switch. HQ. HQ. Both of them retreated. But I still have a pretty decent number on them. Is there any unit that can pull a soft attack together with Leibstandard? You? Yeah, I don't like doing these soft attacks. Oh boy. That's terrible. Okay, I got 6 tag losses. I'm not gonna die from that. But it ain't great. Interesting that they have a 3rd unit in there. Now, I guess one of the first things besides that I want to do is still attack across the river. Also not nice. Okay, so my hope is that at least here they will just hold. And then now the time is there to also start taking territory. And because the more territory I take now, the more difficult it will be for the enemy to get to these units. Because the way it works is the enemy can technically only spawn on hexes that are theirs. So if I make sure that, you know, it will be very hard for them to spawn their units there, then I can take more territory. Or then it will be more difficult for them to do anything, ultimately. Taking Pervomaisk, how beneficial will that be? Oh, one thing that I need to do is move this cavalry. Better not forget. Because that will net me the bridge. One thing though is that I don't want them to just go around and then attack from there. So I also need to make sure that we have at least 2 hex zone of control. Tank division. Unexpected and unfortunate. Alright, so I'll hold here, whereas I'll have you try to take this here center location, take Pervomaisk and this, and we'll see what the Soviets will do about it. Technically they can spawn here and then try to move, but this is a long distance. So I don't necessarily think that it will be all that great for them to try and get through. Okay, so as far as the 14th Motorized Corps goes, I can put these guys under them. I moved the Slovaks further along here as well. Try to get units close so they, if they do stay pocketed, then at the very least I can hopefully quickly kill them. It's also a good number of troops once again, so I hope this will go well. Let's take a look at these supply dumps. Supply items. There was one thing with the info screens that events, Wikipedia. In War in the East 1, there was an ability to show additional information on your units, and that doesn't mean anything for now. It's isolated, I guess it's because we cannot get supplies in there. Fair enough. I do have the rail line all the way up till here. I do hope to get it to Andreyushevka on the next turn, at least. It would mean I would have to take Vastov if I'm going to move that rail further down south again. Through here. It's a big problem, though, that we cannot get any rail over to the Crimea, but, well, nothing we can do for now. 11th Army. Certainly moving up, and I do already have the army group Antonescu there. Okay. You're there. Now at this point, I should be... No, there. I need to go to the OKH because... Oh, I also need to move these guys. Wow, I completely forgot about that. They'll go on the turn 7. So what can they possibly do? I might be able to have you take this one hex. Besides that, there is a potential that they'll take hexes up here if that can go well. Now. I would like to move them to Pskov, but I'm not that far in yet. There we go. Okay, H has siege mortar batteries that I want to send to at least Army Group Antonescu if I can. I can't. Maybe if I send them to Army Group South first, I can allocate them after that. If I even can put them to Army Group Antonescu, I will have to see about that. There is nothing they can do. But I'll certainly move them forward. Get you moving into Tarnopol. And besides that, none of these can move. Okay. How about any reinforcements? I don't think we got any. But it's always good to check. Not gonna busy myself moving the Luftwaffe. It's really crazy how much more of this rail is already fixed. Because I guess maybe because it didn't get damaged. I'm actually shocked that I didn't actually work with these yet, but what I'm gonna do here is I'm actually gonna move you up here. Currently just to work on this rail line, because apparently, you know, I have to beat these guys. The question is, when will I do that at any rate? Okay, well, with that done, I think I'm gonna ship it back. As far as I know, I've taken care of everything except the AI depot management. And then I'll ship it back. I've made quite a few encirclements, but yeah, it remains questionable whether I can hold them. We'll see. I had to allocate a lot of panzers over near to Veliki Luki to make this encirclement possible too, but if I want to get some semblance of a line along even the Lovat, if not push further along, at least to the southern Dvina along here. And here, I guess. I believe that's the Dvina again. Yeah, that's Dvina going up here, and then indeed splitting, and then we'll have the Volga around here. Yeah. Okay. These guys are very exposed. I expect they might actually get beaten back even, but I just wanted to get to know already for now. Maybe I can beef them up a little bit still. No, they already have some additional support units. Okay, never mind. This probably will not help, but they could stay in reserve. Yeah, so... Alright, they'll already withdraw. So I do need to keep some units back. Any hex helps in that regard, so why wouldn't I move further along? Next. It's unlikely that any of these can move. Let's secure those HQs though. Crossing here doesn't actually get me anything. Not at all. Out here. None of you can move. I cannot cross the river. If I could, I would have. retreating is not useful. Now that I've done him in Gomo, one thing I can then technically do is move in here. A bit further along. Not gotta move in here, and they do have units out there anyway. But still. Well, that should then be okay. This takes these 4 hexes. Question is, how useful is that? I don't think it is very useful. Let's not forget the HQs. In these important areas to make sure that our units are also supported, like here. Or they did talk about this not holding. Certainly. Well, that was a mistake, I think, but it might be remedied. It's pretty tricky, all of this. Let's see how many of these will hold, actually. There are some which I'm very doubtful of. And others which I think are very likely to hold. But despite everything, it has been actually a pretty tough campaign so far. It certainly isn't a cakewalk. Wait, what? Nothing. Oh, it's just their supply? Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm actually baffled that they still have supplies in Moglev. Not, we'll see. Soviet reaction attacks, I even wonder what that means. Even looks like they have airplanes at Beekhoff. Yeah, well, obviously they get through there, or not yet at least. That's pretty shocking. Uh-oh. Wow, that's insane. Would have expected them to hold out there. Well, there's a motorized division, but still. Holy cow. Yeah, I do notice did notice from some other people playing this game as well, but on normal, is that the AI is a lot more aggressive on playing on challenging with the additional morale. Also because it's easier for them to move large groups of units, so they have very strong attack groups if they want to. So they can just decide to throw a bunch of units somewhere and then attack. Technically, if they wanted, they could just attack here as well. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. I'm sure they could make it retreat here with these guys. Yeah. Okay, grab empty hexes. That's so weird. Yeah, so they did break out, obviously, but maybe we can make things a little bit easier. Just still snag a few forces, as long as these rear ones also did not fall. Okay, evacuate exposed air bases. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so they're trying to move these guys out then. Oh, they're air transporting freight into that pocket. That's interesting. Alright, I would also like to get this railroad going up here eventually. It's a double rail. I'm going from Vitebsk though. We still haven't captured Smolensk, which is also insane. Talking about being behind, but all this weather, certainly this rain certainly doesn't do me well. This early Rasputitsa kind of rain is just not great. We already have light mud in certain areas, even though we're expected to have good weather throughout, you know, July. It's been not amazing. We'll make do, but. Now, I wonder if the game compensates by giving you better weather days later on in the campaign. New events. Soviet partisans in Belarus. We already got that one. Alright, we'll go over everything. Let's start in the south here. So this held, this held, this held. Very nice. They couldn't encircle them. Heh. Good. Good. Yeah, they obviously broke out there. This held and snap. Really? All right. Well, they got it. This is beyond me. But I'll be able to push the enemy further along this this time. I don't think they're gonna escape a second turn. Really wonder what the AI is doing sometimes. It's like, I know this is good for them because it delays me, but all right. Well, let's run the yeah, let's go to the order of battle here first. So once again, the Soviets are up to 3.2 as they were last mission or last turn. Soviet losses 1.453, 25,000 guns. Okay, 666, 666. I'm not saying anything. We have mostly men disabled. I wonder how many of these disabled men return back to the pool eventually. We have 1/3 killed. So that's the losses on our side. Air losses. Looking at our side, total losses over 1,000 planes. For the Soviets, 5,500. Looking at their order of battle, the Soviets have 13,000 planes currently. Well, if we're looking at on-map forces, they are currently fielding 6,792 tanks. And we have only 1/3 of that. So they still have quite a lot of them. Although there's also a large portion of enemy tanks, etc., that have already been captured. So yeah, it's that's interesting. Anyway, that's the losses that we've racked up. If we are looking at the metrics, victory points have been remaining the same for quite a while. Of course, we still have initiative. Order of battle for the Soviets have been stagnant for the last 3 turns. Stagnant is decent, at least, because it does mean as well that we can continue our operations basically on the same footing as we've done before. The further we get into Russia, the better that is for us. Number of guns going down. Number of tanks also going down. Well, it's AFVs, but yeah, it's going down at least. Still, aircraft slowly going down for the Soviets, not by much. Manpower losses, I mean, it's 0 because we haven't done anything this turn yet. They lost quite less forces in the last turn than before. Gun losses also lower. AV losses lower. Yeah, if we're looking at production though, manpower pool. The manpower pool for the Soviets has reduced significantly. It was 100, Yeah, this was 1 million. Now it's 30,000. Armament pool going up. How are oil stores? They're stagnant. Oil stores requirement stagnant. Fuel stores going down significantly for us, but we can hold out. This is not 0. This is 3.3k or 1,000k.